everyone, it's Stephen Bedard. Have you ever wondered why Easter is called Easter? Because when you look in the Bible, you'll not see any mention of Easter unless perhaps in the later titles added before a paragraph, but we don't find that word in the Bible. And in fact, if you speak other languages, you'll know that it's only English that uses the word Easter. Most other languages use some form of the Greek Pascha rather than Easter or anything related to it. Although German has something related to Easter, they refer to it as Ostern, but it is only in those related languages that we have something like Easter. So where does that word come from? Well, the Venerable Bede shed some light on that for us. I'm going to read a passage from his history. Oostermonth has a name which is now translated Paschal Month, and which was once called after a goddess of theirs named Oster, in whose honor feasts were celebrated in that month. Now they designate that Paschal season by her name, calling the joys of the new rite by the time-honored name of the old observance. And so what Bede is telling us here is that in that month, the Oostermonth, that was named after one of the pagan goddesses, and they ended up celebrating the Paschal festivities, the death and resurrection of Jesus during that month, and they ended up naming those celebrations after the name of that month and therefore after the name of that goddess. Now, some people have feared that perhaps if we use the word Easter, we are referring to some pagan religion, we're referring to this pagan goddess, and therefore it is something as bad. We need to avoid that kind of terminology at all costs. However, that, I think, is misunderstanding what Bede is trying to say. He's not suggesting that the connection with the name of that pagan goddess is bad in any way. He is just making note that that is the month in which the Paschal festivities took place. And so it used that name. It is no different than if we had a celebration in January, which is named after the Roman god Janus, or if we had a celebration in March named after the Roman god Mars, that we would use the name of those months in referring to those festivities. We're not saying that we worship those Roman gods. In fact, the day that I'm recording this video is Thursday, which is named after Thor's Day. Not the Marvel superhero, but the Norse god of thunder. And so there is nothing wrong with that. We're not suggesting that on Thursday we are worshiping Thor. We're just using the traditional name that is there. And so when we call Easter Easter, we're not trying to make pagan connections. We are simply using a reference to the name, the ancient name for the month in which Easter was celebrated. And so that is it. Now, of course, if you are uncomfortable with using the word Easter, then that is fine. You can use whatever name you want. I would just encourage you, though, not to make accusations against those who do use the word Easter, suggesting that somehow they are involving themselves in some pagan worship. Thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in other history-related topics, I'd encourage you to visit my website, historyofchristianitypodcast.com, which includes both the podcast and the blog that goes along with it. Thank you for watching. Take a moment to subscribe, and God bless.